We're live again. It's going to be video number 133. Here we go, people. I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly to make sure it's a little bit more level with the mat, obviously. So video 133, due to the -2 degrees outside, you are going to be doing cardio, legs, which leads to plank, which leads back to legs, which leads to a form of plank. Get yourselves ready with your mat. I'll carry on chatting until I see people managing to tune in. We'll officially start at 9:30. Hello, Lindsay, Susan, Diane. It's great to see you. This studio, I cannot tell you how cold it is. We could actually store the vaccine here really safely. Hi, Patricia and Sarah. Great to see you in the room too. Get yourselves ready. It will be a standing position and it's going to be lots of legs with a rhythm to it. Obviously, I'm going to sequence it into planks, all fours, back to legs, back to planks, all fours. It will be cardio rhythm going on. Hi, Ken. It matters that in terms of what you do, you don't work into places where you end up with pain. You've got to make sure that your work with this version of cardio legs is pain-free. I'm just getting the other camera set up. So this is video number 133. It is going to be cardio leg work, cardio plank, and I have got my trainers on because it's the only way I can survive. Hello Helen, hello Maria, and Mena, and Janine Elizabeth Goulding. Full names there, that's grand. Get yourselves ready for a workout. It is going to be a really decent activity, and keep it within your level of stability and safely making sure there's nothing going on in your lower back. Hi Jan and hi Trudy. You will be starting at the bottom end of your mat with your feet parallel and without your legs locked out. If we're already kind of getting that sensation of the knees learning how to lead the way into bending and extending, you can't go far wrong. So you're going to inhale and lower down into your squat and exhale back up. I'm going to carry on just facing the screen. We haven't officially started. Another minute or so while we wait for people to find their way into their little home studios with their devices. Make sure as you get this positioning going that your feet are level with each other, that your feet are absolutely parallel, and that the movement coming around the joints originates from the knee and the hip, that the knees don't go forwards of your toes. If anything, you want to feel as though your knees come backwards of your heels, and that will take you straight into your hamstrings and glutes. In these moments, therefore, also, we're warming up the breathing muscles whilst we get the blood flow happening around the body. Hello, Carol, and hello, Thomas. The breath in takes you into your squat, your breath out pulls you back out. The whole of this workout should increase the heat to the degree where your heart, lungs, circulatory system starts to get a little bit of a cardio exposure. Obviously, it's a 20-minute moment, so as long as you're feeling nothing untoward. Hi, Kathy. Great to see you in the room too. Hope Tim's with you. If you're feeling hot, feeling as though it's a challenge, as long as that challenge has no pain associated with it, then we're great, aren't we? Don't worry about the challenge being making you hot, making the muscles feel as though they're fatiguing, because that really is how adaptation progression in physical fitness goes. And if you keep the movement going with the breathing muscles, if you let your mind start to follow what's happening in your body, whilst listening to me, obviously, also your well-being will increase. There will be an improvement in your sensation of just feeling great about life despite all its limitations, complications and restrictions. All right, people, I think we're about ready and in the room. I'm going to turn around to end up facing the length of the mat. I'll describe again. You need to be facing along the ends of the length of your mat because we're going to be using the whole mat in this workout. The inhale, you hinge at the hip and lower down, about the pace that I'm setting here. Now that you're kind of in there, in your mind and your body, I've got my hand across my chest area, my hand to my middle to lower back, it's like your midriff behind you. Making sure that that space, that part of the spine doesn't break, as in break its alignment. I'm breathing, inhaling and exhaling. My breath sometimes lasts the length of the down and up phase. It's up to you. If you find it's more of a discipline to inhale into your squat and breathe out, pushing the heels against the ground to push out of it, then that's good. Remember, the people that naturally drop their chest, that'd be Jan Dak, that'd be Mr. Bathgate. Don't drop your chest down. Yesterday we used the bar or a chair, and that was a reference point for making sure you didn't end up like this. Okay. Right, I'm going to start the actual rhythm, which will mean we're going to do 5 squats. Take it down, 1, exhale up, inhale down, 2, and then 3. Core, connect the abdominals, notice the pelvis. Hi Sarah and hi Linda. Now on this 5th one you'll stay down there, and in ways that you've done many a time before, we do what we know as an end range activation. The knee joints still can't go forwards with the toes. Your abdominals are hollowing. You'll probably inhale down and up, exhale down and up in that limited range, end range. And it's all hamstring, glutes and nothing in the lumbar, and your bottoms aren't tucked under. Now stay down there. The breathing out then, keep the hands to the sides of the knees, forwards, chin nod, roll the spine. And then stay, breathe in. Exhale, 5 gentle pushes of the heel down and the bottom up to the ceiling. Don't try and straighten your legs. This is your moderate hamstring connect stretch. And we take this then into rolling from heels to toes and walk across your mat. Spread your fingers and now lower the knees down for the first load that's known as trunk load. It's up to you if you pull your knees in a bit more, that really doesn't matter, but you do want to have symmetry, hands either side. So breath out then, armpits shrink, tum, navel, spine. You've got your pelvis lifting and inhale lowering. People that struggle to get their rib cage placement, allow your head to look down and only lift the knees when the breath out gets your rib cage to belly area active, or thinking of the pulling in of the navel as your rib cage tries to pull under the navel. You're going to stay for 5, up there, 4, just as we did the end range squat. This will land in your midriff and your upper back, maybe some of your back of your arm. That's your 5th moment. Keep your legs bent and start to walk your hands back. Let your head hang and then pelvic tilt as you press your heels down and you come up into your squat. We're going to go down again, so exhaling and inhaling, find your squat and stand. The squat will now become more fluid as you do the movement, just because the muscle's getting warmer. This is your 5th one. As you go down there, this time stay and peel up through the left heel, keeping the right leg rounded, keeping the pelvis symmetrical. Your rib cage, navel, spine, I'm gazing towards the end of the mat, not my chin, my nose almost pointing to there. As I do the equivalent of up, down, it's effectively 10 movements, but 5 sequences, okay? Keep breathing, breathing, and lower that heel down, pick the heel up, and we're going again. Inhaling, and exhaling, keep this going. So I've got my other foot down now. You know the move, we do it almost every day because it's a great activation of the side bottom. All right, and then place that heel down. Welcome back, Janine. Ready for your rolling down, breathing out, chin nod, spine roll, lower back stays relatively free. And you're going to do that gentle push. This leg extend and bend. You're not trying to straighten the legs, I can't emphasize that enough. You're aiming to keep your pelvis flat, your lumbar flat, and the breath pulling the belly away from the thighs. And everyone's hamstring length is particular to everyone's individual posture. You just want this sense of stretch, okay? Stay where you are, then roll from heels to toes, and find yourself back into your plank and all fours. Spread out all those fingers, you own 10 of them. We're now going all fours, strong hand push to the ground, take one leg out, take the second leg out, come back in to all fours and repeat. Go back with the leg that was last in, push the ground away with the hands, then ground the foot, ground the 2 feet, come back in again. We did this yesterday. So go back out with the leg that was last in, go out, both legs, ground, that moment matters. Equal connection with the 4 points of contact, then come back in and in. You have 2 more. Every time you do a position, crown of the head reaches, you want the deepest sense of what muscles are responsible for that and an equal contribution of taking the demand of the activity. This is your last one. So we're going to stay now in the plank, breathe, inhaling and exhaling, pushing the ground away. If that's too much for you, rest your knees down and continue the activation. It's as good and it's even better to make sure you stay within your ability and you don't force things to happen in the wrong place. So this was a 5 breath count hold, whether it was in true plank or in like a 3/4 length connection. Whichever way, we're now ready to move on. So pull your bottom back, bend your knees and walk your hands backwards. Ground your heels, let your head hang. Breathing out, shrink the tum. Pull down through the heels and unload your toes. And find yourself back up into, don't turn around, I'm just trying to give you a bit more cueing. Once you're upright, so go to turn out and then reach your arms up. See if you can extend the body, your ability to take your load to the sky. You ground yourself through your heels, but you imagine you could touch the sky and you elevate everything, including the sternum, to create and enjoy the space that you've really just found in the previous sequence, and then come down again. I'm going to go through that again. As you ground yourself with your heels and you push upwards, the whole here lengthens, that's from the pelvis all the way to the ribs, and as you press away, don't crank your neck. You might want to actually look across the ceiling rather than straight up above, partly because of the limitations that go on in the thoracic spine. Whichever way, you've got to imagine you've got to hold the sky up, okay? You breathe, 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 and then come down. We're ready for our next sequence. In, turn out, which is the position I've just shown you. In plie, turn out then, remember you have only limited turn out at the feet. 10-2 is the biggest or 10 past the hour with the feet. So the rules of being in plie turn out are the thigh bones have to pull wider than the ankles. The hinge of the hip continues as you go down and up. Inhaling and exhaling. Always finish off a squat in a true stand because that's the strengthening element to its conclusion because life is largely upright. The next time you're in that squat, then we stay for what we call our end range. Before you stand, just power on, check both thigh bones are turned out and pointing over the middle of the toe area, as it were. And then you've got your lowering, lifting, inhaling and exhaling. The breath should become lengthened. And the hamstring glute area, in a slightly different way to parallel, becomes more activated. For some of you, the inside of the knee joint muscles, not the joint itself, it's not something that degrades the knee, it's something that should strengthen the knee. And then you stay. Staying down there, then we have our roll down. Hands to the sides of the knees, forwards, rolling spine. As your breath out happens, hands down, and you've got your legs stretch. That gentle pushing down of the heels, but pushing up of the seat. And you get a different hamstring connection in this because you're in turn out, so you've got different responsibility of the different heads of the muscles, okay? You're breathing in and out, and you stay. Ready for taking the load through the toes to tiptoe. Walk your hands, arms, body into long arm plank, and then come down. And now back into all fours and back into parallel, shoulders away from the neck. I'm going to hover my knees. We're going to go out into plank, and back to knee hover. Breathe. Now go with the leg that went out and in. pull it back. If you can't follow the legs, don't worry. In theory, the leg that's just pulled back in leaves the leg out again. And going out breath and in. If you keep with the principle of pushing the ground away, the ground physically is under the hands and the feet now. So connect with that sense of resisting the ground. You want your body to imagine it's pushing away from it. That was your last one. Stay where you are and breathing in and out. Remember, if you need to take your knees down, you can. What matters is shoulder placement, nothing in the neck, everything in the deep abdominals. You're breathing to core connect, strengthen the stability sequence of the whole of your posture, and then take the legs, bend the knees, and pull yourself back into bent legs, ready to then roll through spinal mobility back to the top. You're going to go take your body now back to parallel and then stand so that, in fact, everyone just stand in the middle of your mat. This is possibly the best way. Hi Tom, Tom Brennan, great to see you, hope you're Rita as well. So you stood here, we need to find the lunge that we found yesterday. So take your right leg backwards a bit, have a look at where it went, it can't be too far back, and then get that first sense of the lunge. It's the scooter lunge. Scooter means you've hinged at the hip, you're not upright here. If you have the chair in front of you as a bar, you're kind of aiming towards that bar, you're not obviously on it, but you're not upright. That's the point I'm trying to make. So here we go. We found our lunge. Remember, the front leg is the dominant leg as you step up and crouch back. You step up and crouch back. The load stays in that leg the foot doesn't leave the floor of your front leg. And every time you step back, there's a lightness to that backwards leg, and the heel stays to the ceiling. This time we'll say it's the fifth one. Now keeping the heel to the ceiling on that back leg, keeping dominant through the front leg. You do your end range movement, which takes you into a deeper hamstring connect. Refuse to tuck under. Do push and pull with the heel against the ground. Though the bendy wendies, don't tuck your bottom under. So you've equivalent of 10 here, 10 complete lower lift, lower lift, lower lifts, with a continuous breath, with the load staying down in the front leg, and then you'll pull back up to stand. Ready for the other side. Find your squat, step the leg back. Remember, it never can go too far. Get your hinge in place, as though you're about to run a race, isn't it? It's that kind of when you're a kid, you'd say, on your marks, and here we are. All right, then when you feel good, tap up and hinge back. Tap up, hinge back. You're breathing in and out. You're becoming more natural. The pattern of movement originating from the standing grounded foot as your pelvis goes backwards and forwards. Remember, the load stays gentle in the back leg that steps back and very dominant in that front leg. You go back and stay. Staying there, don't be afraid of moving stuff around to make it right. And then we go down a bit. And when we do this movement, most people put too much load through their back foot, and that confuses the brain in knowing where the power should be finding itself. It finds itself in the front leg. The hinge of the hip, it's like a diagonal hinging back and forth. About another 5 and 4, core connect, resist twist of the pelvic area and resist pelvic imprinting, you bendy wendies, you know who you are. All right, people, and come up to stand. Move yourself to the bottom end of your mat again, take your feet wide. Are you ready? Find a squat, find your roll down, and then find a stretch which gives you the release of the hamstring glute. Breathing in and out. You're not trying to straighten your leg out, your emphasis is on length and slight release. Without hollowing, that's your 5th one, and back we go into our plank. So in plank this time, you stay. You're going to pull one into the centre and push it back to wide. I've got a kind of star shape. Pull the other leg in, tap the centre, push it out wide, breathe. Pull the leg into the centre, like under the belly button or under the pelvis, and back out. And obviously you're doing this without collapsing at the hips, without tucking your bottom under, and without moving your tailbone or your bum. Now, if it's too intense, go from the centre out, out, in, centre, in. If you can manage, keep that going. Otherwise, you tap and return, tap and return. For this final moment here, now come back to all fours. We're going to do 5 pyramids, okay? Breathe in, breathe out, hover your knees. Find your pyramid, push the ground away and press those heels down. And then go to tiptoes again. Exhaling, shoulders away from the neck. Refuse to tuck your bottom under. Press with the hands, armpits and heels, and inhale, tiptoes. The sense of getting length through the upper thoracic spine area and the back of the sit bone to the heel to the calf muscle is really what you're trying to achieve. 2 more. And last time. Soften the knees and walk your posture. Pull your heels down, hang the head and roll the spine up. We're doing great. Your final move is your sumo squat, and that's kind of the final part of this cardio come leg workout. Obviously, if I was teaching you, I could see how quickly I could go with all of this stuff, but I can't emphasise enough because we've got a good 6 weeks of this remote learning, just like everyone else in life. And it's more concerning to me that none of you get injured or damaged as the journey progresses. I'd rather we have this very thorough starting place, and then, you know, as you all feel stronger and better with it, I know I can either pick up the pace or pick up the complexity. Whichever way, and again we did this at the bar yesterday, it's a brilliant hip opener. Your legs are only as wide as your hips allow, and that is a posture come age scenario. You can't decide you want open hips. Your hips are as open as they are. What you can do is maintain the well-being of the hip joint by constantly allowing it to appropriately find its range of movement, to keep its strength, and that's really what all of this is about. So this wide leg moment here is you allowing the pelvic position to stabilise, letting your thigh bones open, refusing to tuck your bottom right under. So we're going down and back up. I would call this an active stretch. I physically feel as though the muscles that make up my seat to my sit bone, all the way through to the back of my thigh, the inside of my knee joint feels great. My weight is to the outsides of my feet, so my ankles aren't rolling in, and my thigh bones, knees, go over my toes, not inside them. Go down and stay. You're hinged at the pelvis. It's your sumo version of life. And in this downwards phase, the heart rate increases just because the muscle movement's smaller, but it's big muscles involved, and that puts pressure on the heart appropriately, along with pressure on the muscle fibres here and here. You're breathing. Your shoulder blades draw together, your pelvic floor draws up, your navel draws in. The deeper the breath in this position, the more hydration of the spine, the more blood flow. The overall body impact increases, improves, and after it, you want to be glad you're not in this position for any longer. So you're ready? Exhale, push the ground away, breathe. Don't lock the legs, pelvic tilt. Take one arm up and mimic the shape of your arms with the shape of your legs. Breathe in, bend your elbows, and then breathe out and push. Inhale, pull your elbows down. Exhale, push against the heels, grounded Visualise the sky that you're reaching away, and this should be a bit easier than when you first did it. Up you go. Now keep your arms up and reach one arm higher, and then release the shoulder, then reach the other arm high. Now the palms are faced in for this. I'm looking across the ceiling as one arm goes up and back down, shoulder elevation, shoulder release. The shoulder carriage, reaching, and then we go down. Place your hands behind your back, keep the same shape, and then linking the hands together. If you can't, put your hands to the sides of your bum. If you link your hands together, lift the sternum up. You're not dropping backwards, you're reaching upwards, okay? So you're getting elevation and extension here. And then allow your arms to go. And just to face you, you can then bring your legs together. Now, that should have been enough to switch on the cardio side, heart-lung circulation, the big muscles globalising blood flow. And if you've got to now sit at a desk, you should be feeling, you know what, I can do this. If you're homeschooling, same as. If you just feel restricted and housebound, you should be able to get on with your chores in a great way. Whichever way, next part of the Pilates workout will be in the next 5 minutes, which will give you your Pilates rhythm of your core work. And again, that will flow so there's no sudden static stuff going on. Stay well, take care, hope to see you again, and for those tuning in later, hopefully this is the workout you need. Bye bye.